Hello viewers, this is Wolf here with another model kit review, and today we're going to be jumping back into some more Digimon stuff as we take a look at the Figure-rise standard MetalGarurumon Amplified model. Now this is a kit that I was actually super hyped about ever since they released the Figure-rise Wargreymon, and now that this kit is finally available, I honestly really love this kit. But before we take a look at it, I just want to do a quick scan of the box here. So of course we have the front of the box here showing MetalGarurumon howling up into the sky with a bunch of lightning bolts around him, which is kind of cool. Right here on the side, it's just highlighting various features and stuff you can achieve with this model, especially with the wings, which is pretty cool. Right up here into this corner, it's just going to show the level of articulation and flexibility you can achieve with this model, which is pretty cool. And this side, nothing really too special, just kind of highlighting the front and back sections of MetalGarurumon here. So with the box out of the way, let's take a look at the actual model here. And with the model completely assembled, I think this model looks absolutely fantastic. I think they did an amazing job capturing the cyborg wolf aesthetic that they were really going for with MetalGarurumon, especially with these translucent sections that we have all over the body. But here we have this part here on the nose, which is very bright, looking very beautiful here. The mouth is very beautifully detailed as well too. Even if you take a look at the tongue, it's very shiny. Very nice looking part here. And then taking a look at the colors, you know, we have these very beautiful bright purples kind of going down the head here, which then goes down to the legs, looking very nice. And then of course we have these red stickers here kind of lining what would be the interior sections, like the inner sections of the leg, which is kind of cool. Right here, there's a bit of a black tubing just in front of the leg joint, which I think is pretty cool aesthetic there. And then taking a look down to the paws, these paws kind of look white, but there's definitely a little bit of a purplish tinge to them, which I think looks pretty cool. And then it's of course contrasted by this very bright and beautiful, almost like magenta or like pinkish claws here, which look really nice on this model. And then of course we have these gold sections kind of going very nicely with the purples here around the neck here, going down the neck and then around the front section of the body and then up on the wings here, looking very beautiful. And then of course we have these effect parts for the wings here, which look very nice, adding a nice little speedy effect to MetalGarurumon, especially if you have him in like a running pose or something like that. I think that's a very cool effect. The ice missiles and the launchers looking very good as well too. And then getting back onto what I was saying about these translucent parts, there's a lot of those around the body, which I feel gives it a very nice cybernetic look. So if you take a look right here at the hind legs right here have that same translucent shielding right here, just on that section there. And then right on the very back of the hind legs, we have these very beautiful translucent, very bright red spikes here on the very back of the legs here, looking very nice. So if you take a look at the under section of the body, right here, we of course have this marking for Garurumon here, completely encased in this very beautiful, transparent green shielding here, which I think looks very good. And then of course we have more of this translucent red just underneath the back legs right here. So honestly, I think this model is just pure eye candy. I think it looks very beautiful. It looks amazing. So just to get on to articulation now, this is going to be a little bit weird because I've never really articulated a quadrupedal model before, but anyway, let's start from the bottom up. So starting with the paws, the front legs are actually kind of interesting in that these two sections are separated from each other a little bit, so you can see that you can get some individual, sorry, just as the camera focuses, you can get some individual movement with the front section of the paw here, or with the claws, which is kind of interesting. But then if you move the whole part, the whole foot or the whole paw, you can actually coil the paw back all the way like that. So you have a lot of movement with the foot, which is really cool. You can completely have it flat upside down like that, which is pretty interesting. And of course you have like your nice range of motion. You can completely spin this foot around. And of course this leg's not going to fall off like it did with my Wargreymon. But of course, moving up, you know, we have this little shielding here. This moves up and down, so you have a little bit of movement on this shield, which is pretty cool. So taking a look at this tubing that I was talking about earlier, this part actually has a bit of articulation on it, because if you move the bottom section of the leg, you can actually coil the leg forward all the way out like that. So you can completely have this sitting down and coiled down like that, which is pretty cool. And then of course, if you extend it, this is about as far as you can get with it down. So now for some in and out, you can see that the leg here is mounted right into this part of the golden armor. So you can see if we look right up here, if you rotate it like this, you can get a bit of in and out movement with that. So you have some additional movement there. And then going up to the wings, of course, the ice missiles here have a bit of movement, but then on these wings here, you can actually completely fold these over if you want to. Of course, this is going to look kind of silly, but that is the level of movement that you have here. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with the wings. Of course, you can flatten them out, and this is just kind of limited by the spikes here. The ice missile launchers kind of make contact with the spikes. So that's about as much as the movement you're going to get there. So taking a look at the head has some really interesting movement here. So you can of course open and close the mouth. So just like that, you can close the mouth if you so desire. It opens up pretty easily, and these joints are pretty stiff. So of course you're going to get those pose. You're going to get this. You're not going to have to worry about it not holding its poses, which is pretty cool. So you of course can open and close the mouth. The head rotates a little bit as well too, so you have a little bit of movement from side to side there. And then looking up and down, you can see that right here. Again, I apologize for the camera not focusing there, but this is about as high as you can get it to look up from where the neck point is there. And then for looking down, MetalGarurumon can look all the way down like that, which is pretty interesting. So then going back onto the neck, you can see that we have a lot of movement with the neck here, going up and down like that. And then the neck has some interesting side-to-side movement as well. So you have some individual movement here with the head as well as with the neck here, which is pretty cool. So going on to the midsection of the body, and this is actually the very interesting feature with this model, is that this part here has two mounts for the midsection and the rear section of the body, so these parts are completely separate. So because of that, you actually get some really interesting posability. So you can see that this front section, you can actually move this, you can rotate it from side to side independently of the rear, which is pretty interesting. And then you actually have some up and down movement with that joint in the middle as well too. So there's a lot of movement you can get with the main body. And then taking a look at the back section here, it's the exact same thing. You can move this side to side just like that, and up and down as well. So there's a lot of range of motion you can get with the front and rear sections of the body. So going on to the back legs now. So the back legs, starting from the paws, are a little bit different from the front legs in that these two parts are not separate. They're actually connected together, so you can't really move them separately like you could in the front, but you of course still have relatively the same amount of movement with the paw here. So you can of course bend this back just like that. You can have this go up as high as that going forward. Of course, you still have that same range of motion on the paw there. And then, of course, you know, with the shield, the little shields on the legs, you have that up and down movement. Of course, just like the front legs, you have that similar movement here. I believe this can go back a little bit further, so you can completely stretch this leg down like this, and then you can coil it up all the way just like that. So you got some nice movement on the legs, and of course the legs, you can rotate them completely around here on its joint. So a lot of movement you can get with the legs, and of course just like with the front sections of the legs, you can move them in and out just like that. So now onto the tail. you have a little bit of movement on the tail as well too, so the tail can move up and down. You can't really move it from side to side much at all, but you know, that's its highest point, and then that is the tail's lowest point. So that's pretty much going to cover it for articulation on this model. I honestly think the articulation is very good on this model. There's a lot of stuff there's a lot of options you have to really fine-tune your poses and really get whatever you desire out of your MetalGarurumon, which is pretty cool. And the thing that I like is that the joints are actually they have a nice amount of tension to them, to where they're going to hold their poses nicely as well. So now getting on to additional parts that this comes with. So this model really only comes with one additional part. It's this little piece here. And essentially what this does is, if we take a look at the mouth again, so if we open this up, so if we take a look right in here, just on the roof of the mouth, you can see that there is a little indent there. There's like a little mounting spot there. And that is essentially for this part. So this allows you to essentially pose one of the wings inside of MetalGarurumon's mouth, and you can kind of use it as a sword. So I'll just display that real quick. So of course you just put the mount right into the mouth. It goes in pretty easily, just like that. There's not really much of a struggle. So of course it sits in like that, and of course if you want to, you can just close in the mouth so you have some extra support there. So you're gonna have to take off the wings, of course. So these joints are a little tight. They're a little tight to get out. You have to wiggle it a bit. But it is nice, of course, because, you know, you don't have to really worry about these falling out on their own. I'm just trying to get a decent spot to actually get some leverage on this. So there we go. So the wing is off now. So of course you're going to want to remove the ice missile launchers. These sit into the wings or the swords very tightly, so you're going to want to wiggle it a little bit just to get it out. And if you want to pose this in the mouth, you have to remove these effect parts. And these effect parts, they mount in pretty simply, just like that. So with all of that, of course you're going to use that to mount straight into here. So just like that, and just wiggle it in a little bit. And there you go. So you have a pretty cool looking display here with MetalGarurumon with the sword in its mouth, just like that. So I think that's honestly one of the features of this Figure-rise redesign, which I think is just super cool. You being able to take the wings off and then use them as a sword in the mouth as well. And of course there's two mounts, so if you really wanted to, you could go double-ended sword through the mouth like that. And I think that's gonna look really cool on this model. So yeah, there's definitely some really interesting things that you can achieve with this. So another interesting thing about this model is that it actually comes with an action-based stand. Now that's interesting because the Figure-rise Wargreymon didn't actually come with a stand, and I thought it was kind of interesting because I feel like MetalGarurumon is the least of the two models that would really need a stand because he's quadruped. He's not really going to have much of an issue standing up by himself. So I feel that Wargreymon could have really done with a stand, because he is a little bit difficult to stand up. But you know, it's whatever. You have they actually give you a full frame here with a bunch of additional pieces for this action-based stand. So I suppose if you didn't really want to use this for MetalGarurumon, you probably could just transfer this over, like just use this for Wargreymon if you really wanted to. So that's actually really interesting that it actually comes with a stand. That's also one of the things that I really like about this over the Wargreymon is the inclusion of a stand, because I think that model really needed it. This piece up here is actually a unique piece to this model, because this is actually, in order to mount MetalGarurumon onto the stand, you actually need to remove the rear legs off, and then you essentially have this sit right on there. This whole section supports the middle section of the body, and then you reattach the legs through this hole right here. So really interesting that it comes with a stand. A lot of stuff that it comes with, and I think the stickers are good. So pretty much I'm just gonna do a bit of a comparison with my Wargreymon right here. So just right here, here's my Wargreymon, my Figure-rise Wargreymon. And I have his legs positioned in a way to where it will support his body, but if you do move the legs, he does have a bit of an issue standing up. You can see he's a little bit wobbly, so I'm probably going to get him up on that action base if I can, hopefully. But honestly, when I compare the two... Oh, and this is also just a bit of a size comparison here, too. You can see that, of course... Whoa, okay. That almost fell. But you can see that, yeah, he's having a bit of an issue standing up now. I think I just gotta lean him back a little bit and space out the legs. Okay, that should be okay. Okay, so just as a bit of a size comparison between the two models, you can see that, of course, MetalGarurumon is going to be a little bit shorter than Wargreymon, but of course he's going to have a lot more length to him. And of course the wings are definitely going to add that extra length sideways as well too. So it's a pretty sizable model. It looks great along with Wargreymon, and these are actually some of the reasons why I like this kit so much more than my Wargreymon. Certain things like a lot of these parts coming pre-painted, and as opposed to having stickers to add the paint to them. What I mean by that is the claws. Like I love the fact that these claws already came painted like this, because with Wargreymon here, you can see that these claws here. These white parts of the claws were not painted. They actually want you to put white stickers there, and I didn't like that because I felt that the stickers were a little bit difficult to really apply properly. So there were just small things like that I thought that they did a better job with on this MetalGarurumon kit compared to the Wargreymon here. In terms of articulation, I think MetalGarurumon is just a lot more articulate than Wargreymon, which I think is really interesting. And there's just a lot more features that you have at your disposal here with MetalGarurumon. Of course, it goes without saying the inclusion of a stand is very crucial here. So I think that's very nice. So honestly, I really love this kit a lot more than my Wargreymon here. So another thing that's kind of interesting, just kind of highlighting this real quick. So of course this is the sticker pad. So I've used all of my stickers on my MetalGarurumon. The only ones I haven't used are these 01 stickers. These stickers, I honestly have no idea where those are supposed to go. But like, there's nothing in the manual about them, and I don't think I've seen that on MetalGarurumon before. So I'm wondering why those are even there. But yeah, we have some unused stickers in this pack. But yeah, that's pretty much going to bring this review to a close. I'm just going to go on to my final thoughts real quick. So honestly, this model kit, probably one of my favorite model kits that I've had to assemble. Even when I compare this to some of the Gundam models that I've assembled recently, I think like the posability on this is great. The visuals look fantastic. I think the stiffness of the joints is just right. Things aren't too stiff to where it feels like nothing really works or that something's gonna break, but they're not loose either to where things are just gonna fly around or you're gonna lose your poses. I feel like they got the right joint tension and stiffness on this model, which I think is really cool. And on top of that too, the inclusion of a stand is very good, very crucial. Maybe not necessarily for MetalGarurumon, but for anything else that might need an action base, mainly the Wargreymon over there. But yeah, and on top of that too, like the visuals, you know, the features you can do with it, like the being able to detach the wings and attach them into the mouth. There's a lot of stuff you can do with this, and I honestly can't really say that there's anything I disliked about it. I thought it was a fun model to assemble. Way more so than the Wargreymon, and it was a very fun model to play around with and just kind of pose. So I think this is a very, very safe purchase. Like if you guys like MetalGarurumon, you're interested in the Figure-rise standard model, honestly, I think you guys should just pull the trigger on the purchase. This is a very good model. I really love it. This is easily one of my favorite model kits that I've built in a long time. And yeah, I'm very happy with this. So yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys found it informative. There's definitely going to be more figure reviews and unboxings coming in the future, and I hope you guys stay tuned for that. But until then, I hope you guys stay safe. I hope you guys have a good day or good night, depending on where you are, and I will see you all later.